You bend yourself into the shape others want, losing small pieces of yourself with every nod and careful smile. You know how to keep a room calm. You hear the edge in someone's voice and let it pass. You swallow the reaction that almost reached your face. You adjust your words until they land softly enough that nobody has to feel uncomfortable. You scan constantly, a pause, a look, a shift in tone. You notice what everyone needs from the moment, and somehow your own reaction becomes the easiest thing to remove. Maybe you tell yourself you're just considerate, mature, flexible, easy to be around, and maybe sometimes you are. But there may be another possibility. Sometimes keeping the peace becomes so automatic that you stop noticing what it costs you. Stay with me because there's a particular moment when this pattern becomes visible, the second you know what you really think, but choose the version of yourself the room can tolerate more easily. You notice it in small flashes. You're agreeing with someone you barely agree with. You laugh at something that quietly bothers you. Someone asks what you want, and before answering, you check what everyone else wants first. There's a brief moment before every one of these decisions, a small opening. For a second, your actual opinion is still there. Then you edit it. It's late evening. You're standing in a corridor outside a corporate dinner, glass in hand, city lights flickering through tall windows. Inside, the room is humming, sharp laughter, half-finished conversations, small jokes that land slightly harder than anyone admits. You stay near the edge of the group, present, useful, easy to include. Then the conversation turns serious. A decision has to be made. The room splits. People start defending positions. The energy tightens. Then someone says your name. What do you think? Everything turns toward you, and for 1 second there's space for the truth. You know what you think. You know what you want to say. But you also feel the tension in the room. You imagine the silence after the wrong sentence, the disappointed look, the possibility that someone might push back. So you soften, you hedge, you offer the answer that creates the least friction. The room relaxes, someone nods, the conversation moves on. You stayed part of the group. But something else happened too. The part of you that had an opinion never entered the room, and this is where the pattern becomes difficult to see, because nothing went wrong. Nobody got angry. You didn't embarrass yourself. You may even have improved the atmosphere. From the outside, it looks like social intelligence, but the question is not whether keeping the peace is bad. The question is, what happens when peace always requires your disappearance? Maybe somewhere along the way, being easy to have around started to feel safer than being fully visible. Not consciously, not dramatically, just through repetition. You learn which reactions create tension, which opinions disappoint people, which ones make things inconvenient, and slowly you become very good at removing them before anyone else has to. The cost doesn't arrive all at once. It shows up quietly. You agree to the meeting you don't want. You accept the extra responsibility. You say yes to the weekend plan. You tell someone it's fine before checking whether it actually is. Eventually, even simple questions become strangely difficult. Where do you want to eat? What do you want to do? Do you agree? What do you actually think? You hesitate, not because you have no preference, but because preference has become something you process through everyone else first. What will keep things smooth? What answer creates the least disappointment? What version of me fits here? And this may be where self-deception enters, not as a lie you consciously tell yourself. Something quieter. You call it patience when sometimes it may be avoidance. You call it flexibility when sometimes it may be self-erasure. You call it maturity when sometimes you may simply be protecting yourself from the cost of being disagreed with. The pattern doesn't need you to believe that you have no desires. It only needs you to keep placing them second, again and again, until your decisions start sounding like echoes of the room around you. So consider a different question. What would happen if for one moment you didn't match the room first? Not if you became aggressive, not if you stopped caring about other people, just if you allowed your own reaction to exist before editing it. Would you know what you wanted? Would other people recognize it? Would you? You're back in the corridor. The glass is still in your hand. City lights move across the window. Behind you, the conversation continues without you. And maybe the most uncomfortable realization isn't that you stayed silent, it's that you can't remember the last time you said something that risked someone's approval. Recognition doesn't remove the pattern, but it changes something important. The next time you feel yourself smoothing the moment, you may notice the split, what you feel, what you are about to say, and the distance between them. That distance is worth observing, not judging, not immediately fixing, just noticing. Because perhaps the hidden cost of belonging is not simply that other people know you less, it's that over time you may begin to know yourself less too. You can start mapping this pattern without turning it into a label or a verdict. The first fragment of that map is available through the link in the description at InnerCodex.app. It's a first hypothesis, something to compare against your own experience, not something you have to believe. And after you see it, there's one question worth carrying with you. When you keep the peace, what part of yourself are you asking to stay silent?